Right. So this is what we have seen. Traffic manager, how it is useful. Basic load balancer will not give you all these features, right? This load balancer, the one which we saw, it is good to distribute the traffic. It makes sure that traffic doesn't go to a server or to an app which is not working. But same thing will be done on application gateway also. Same thing will be done on traffic manager also. But these things, traffic manager and application gateway, they will keep on giving you extra features, right? For example, this one will let you add app services also. Load balancer will only allow you to add machines. Next thing, traffic manager that gives all these features, routing methods. This is very unique. You won't get routing methods in any of these, right? So we have seen one routing method which was geographic. Let me disconnect the VPN. Now, if I simply refresh there to that page, I think it will again take me to the due to sometimes due to cache issue, it doesn't work. But look at this. The moment I disconnected from US VPN and connected to India, again my basic internet, and refreshed same link, it took me to a different web page. So this is how you use traffic manager. I told you we have multiple methods. So now look at the other method. So what you can do is you can change the method in the same profile as well, or you can create a new profile also. It's up to you. It's always recommended to select the method first and then add endpoints. So if I go ahead and try to configure here, change the method, it may not work flawlessly, right? Because I have already added the endpoints. It's always recommended that you use the method first and then add the endpoints. But in our case, let's have a look. Let's try. We'll give it a try. If it doesn't work, we'll create a new profile where we are going to where we are going to select the method first, and then we are going to add the endpoints again. Same endpoints, obviously. But let's give it a try. We use geographic. Now let's try priority. We are going to see priority now. This is slow today for sure. Okay. So this is what I'm talking about. Routing method, geographic. We're going to change that to priority. If I select subnet, subnet is very easy, guys. You simply just have to declare that based on which subnet you want traffic to be prioritized, and you can do that. So we are not going to do it. We will see priority. Save. Now we have just mentioned the routing method priority. Did I give the priority number or anything? No. So we have to do that yet, right? Otherwise, it's not yet completed. So you go to endpoint. Like we had to do some settings. We had to select area, geography, etc. We'll have to do some settings here also. We'll have to give the priority to the apps. Portal is for sure slow today, guys. You'll have to bear with me for this. Okay. By default, it has taken this priority. We can either change it or we can uh, do our practical with this one. Lowest the number, highest the priority. So if I keep this, by the way, first let's check what is the number. It can be between 1 to 1000. So if I keep this number as 5, now if you guys access the site, same link, Which site should be accessible? What do you think? Yes, if you access the site now, which site will be accessible?
India.
India site, yes. You can give it a try, but use a different browser. Now I refreshed and obviously I got India because sometimes I told you cache issue, etc. So go ahead and open a new incognito mode and give it a try. And if you understood, it's okay. You don't even have to try. If you understood it well, you don't even have to try. Yes, it is taking me to the India site, right? Now let's go ahead and check this. So now I want this site to be accessible. First site. It is actually first endpoint I have written. It's US site. So two things I can do. Either I can decrease the number here, make it smaller than 2, which is obviously 1. Or I can increase the number on the other side. So I can either decrease the number here or increase it here. Same thing. For some reason, it's working very slow today, but we'll have to work on this. No other option. Let's wait. And guys, I'll tell you one scenario. A colleague of mine or one of the previous batches student, she was working on application gateway, and in this training we do it on very small scale and minimum settings. But when you go actually you go for production environment, you will see many of settings, right? N number of options here and there. And these guys were trying to do that. They were doing everything correct, but they were not getting the result as expected. Now I'm not explaining the whole scenario, but what I'm trying to explain here or portray here, try to understand that they were doing everything correct, all configuration, but they were not able to achieve the result. They created and they were trying it. They created, they were trying it. They changed the setting, they were trying it. It didn't work. They involved Microsoft. Microsoft also validated the settings that everything is fine. Ultimately, it was the silliest reason we have ever heard. It was very silly reason. The only thing they had to do is wait. For example, I'm changing the priority. That number has 5. I'm making it 7. Now, by default, my US website should be up and running, right? I mean that should have the priority. But if I check, it was always showing India website for them. Why? Because only it takes time for synchronization and they were not waiting. In our case, it may not take some time, it may take some time, but understand one thing, whenever it comes to application gateway, traffic manager, or any service, when you change anything, give it some time, at least 10 to 15 minutes. And now look at this. It is working for us. The moment I change the priority, now using the same link, when I access, I get this link. You guys can also give it a try. This is your priority. But in production environment, this silly reason can haunt you for a long time. They spent almost 4 days. On the fifth day, they connected with Microsoft, and luckily they figured it out. I mean, they changed the setting and just left it. Okay, let's take a coffee break and come back, and it worked. Then they started trying it on their test environment and then realized that after every change, even the smallest change, they had to wait for 10 to 15 minutes for that to apply and work properly. Otherwise it wasn't working for them, and configuration and everything was perfectly fine, right? So this is what your traffic manager is. We have seen geographic and priority. Similarly, you can check other options also. So that's it for Traffic Manager. If you guys have any doubts, any questions, let me know. If not, we'll start a new topic then. We are done with this one. We're done with load balancer today. I haven't shown you the front door, but that's okay. It's almost similar. We don't have to go and check all of them. What you can do, maybe you can give it a try for front door. Right? So any doubts, any questions, guys? I'm deleting all this because these are costly resources. So give me 1 minute, please. Meanwhile, please Think about it, recap. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be on mute for a minute and I'll be deleting this. Meanwhile, let me know if you guys have any doubts, any questions. Okay, guys, I've deleted the resources. I've started deleting them. They will get deleted automatically. Uh, so we're done with load balancer. Most of the past services we are done with. Web app I have already shown. Uh, do some practice. We do have something pending, which is function app, but these are very small. I mean, if you understand web app first, these are the fraction of web app, static app and function app. See, here you can simply just host your website. Same thing, you can create it, create a web app, sorry, static app, and using your CI/CD or GitHub, you can push your page here. It has same thing but with less feature. Like we had load balancer. For load balancer, we had four options, and from right to left, front door is the latest with maximum feature. Then traffic manager with maybe, let's say for example, if it has five features, then it has four. Then application gateway has three. Load balancer has two. The number is just a for your exam, for your understanding. Right? Similarly, we have web app, function app, static app. Similarly, REST functionality and everything has same. Web app is the highest one. There we have deployment slots, etc. that you will not get in static web app or function app. These are just to host uh, static websites. By the way, anyone can tell me the difference between a static website and dynamic website? And I'm creating one in front of you. You tell me if this is dynamic or static. Any name is fine. I'm not going to put any code, so I'm taking anything randomly. Okay, if I click next here, your question has been answered in these two tabs itself. So tell me if this website is static or dynamic, and what is the difference between static and dynamic website? Yes, yes. Anyone? We have been using so many websites, right? Not related to Azure, but so many websites we have been using. So anyone can tell me the difference between static. You can Google, Chat GPT, do whatever you want.
I mean, if we go by the basic meaning of static and dynamic, static is something which which shows up the I mean, which is not changing basically. And
Hmm.
in dynamic, you get options to navigate multiple screens, something like that,
Perfect. Yeah.
In
So
dynamic, we get a real-time data, and static
which
is
keeps
something
changing.
fixed.
Yeah.
perfect. These two websites, mine is static. Even if I have multiple pages about courses, testimonials, schedule, contact, even if I have multiple pages, it is nowhere connected to any database. Nothing. These are just pages over there. You can go, you can read, right? You can just check the information. That's it. But this website, the moment I click here, it gets connected to a database. If I click here, it will again get connected to a database. It will send some query. It will check which colors do we have available, which size do we have available. Look at this. It is showing, it is giving us a result. We are querying, we are uh, throwing a query. It is giving us the answer, color, right? If I add this to cart, it shows whether it is available or not. If I add it to my cart, uh, one will get less from their inventory. Example, if it had 10 items, it will next time it the database will know that it has only 9 items because one has been ordered now. If I return it, then again it will go back to 10. That is your dynamic website. And this is your static website where nothing is connected. No database, nothing. It's simple one pager website. As in I have multiple pages, but it's not at all connected to any database. Got the difference, guys? So this is your static website. This is your dynamic website. Now,
So
again, look at this.
Suhail,
Yes.
can we not call static website a web page then?
Sorry.
I'm saying if I mean, can we not call static website a web page?
All of them are web page. Even this Amazon is a web page.
No, no, Amazon we can say it's a website, right? Because there are multiple web pages associated with the website.
No, no. Even your
But
static
in
can have multiple web pages. Number of pages, number of functionality. It's not changing the definition. The only thing which is changing the definition, it's your connectivity with the database. If your website is connected to the database, it is dynamic. If it is not connected, it is static. So very simple. Irrespective of the
okay,
number of pages, functionality, how fancy it looks, it's very simple. If it is connected to a database, if your clicks are making changes somewhere, then it is dynamic. If not, then it is static. Guys, just give me 1 minute. Sorry. Got it? So number of pages, etc. उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. If your website is connected to any database, it is dynamic. If it is not, it is static. So again, I'll come back to my original question. The one which I'm creating now, this test website, right? Is it dynamic or static? I haven't even created, but your question has been answered in these two pages. Yes, guys. Danish, Nagma,
Static.
static. Why is it static?
Yeah, continuous deployment is disabled over here.
No, forget it. Continuous deployment is a different thing. I can have one pager
Okay.
website, maybe a 5 page website. I can have continuous deployment and still it can be a static. This is one database. If I create a database, then it becomes your dynamic website. My dynamic can be continuous deployment. My static can also be continuous deployment. My dynamic can not be continuous deployment. Static can both. I mean, it goes for both of them. This doesn't decide the factor whether it is static or dynamic. Even one pager single website can also be uh, hosted. In fact, this website which we were looking at, this is hosted on this. This has continuous deployment. This website of mine. It is static and it has continuous deployment. If I want to make some changes here, for example, contact number, look at this. This code is broken. If I want to go there and fix this, I don't have to do anything. I'll simply go to my repository where I have saved my code, and I'll make those changes and put commit, and automatically that will be changes. That changes will appear here. That is called continuous deployment and continuous integration. Still, that doesn't make my website as a dynamic website. Only one factor you can remember, it's your database. If it is connected with database, it is dynamic. If it is not, then it is static. Clear to everyone? So if I'm using the dynamic website, I will require a database. So here, the database, either you can connect your own database or you can create a database while creating this. You can create Cosmos database, you can create SQL Azure database, Microsoft SQL database, whichever you want. Now you won't have to get into this. You will always have your, what do you say? You'll always have your database guys, DB team will always be there. You won't have to worry about it. Got it? But the moment you use a database, it will be a dynamic website. Is this point clear to everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Now, why did I explain this so much? So, when you go here and you use a web app has a feature where you can connect a database also. Now, this database and dynamic, I put emphasize on that because this is connected. This will help you to understand the difference between these app services also. And the next topic, Key Vault, which we are going to pick, it will help there also, right? So, uh, if you have a dynamic website, we'll always go ahead with web app. Why? Because it gives you the option to integrate it with your database. But if you have single pager website, single pager as in static website, static website, then you can go ahead with static web app. If you have a very minimum requirement, I mean, it's not even a website. You simply want that my users will be giving me some input in numbers. Maybe I have a website, one page website, where someone will log in and just type a number. Right here, they will come and they'll just type a number. And I want the output in words. So that's very small feature that I give you a link. You guys open that link and type number one. But result to me, it should come as ONE1. You type it in numbers, it should come to me in letters. I have that small feature. I don't require any website, any database, nothing for that. So you can create function app for that. बहुत ही simple feature, basic सा feature है. So for that, you can use function app for a feature like that. Got it? So smaller function app, mid-range static app, a good one where you require database connectivity, where you require deployment slots, etc. Then you will use web app. Is this clear, guys? And when you use load balancer, application gateway, traffic manager, front door, this we have seen. Web app we have seen. Now let's go ahead and talk about. By the way, here in this pass section, I have given the details also. Function app, it is almost same as app service, more towards serverless. You can create or run a function via this. Example, some tasks to be done via webhook. Webhook, leave it. You can use PowerShell or Python script. If you want a simple Python script to be run, you can use function app. Logic app, it is almost same as function app. However, this can run multiple functions. You can use multiple scripts. If you have a task which you want to run daily, you can use function app. Through function app, you can run a script, a single script. You want to run multiple scripts, go with logic app, right? Then web app we have seen. Key differences, etc. You can read it here. from the interview perspective. Now let's go ahead and talk about service endpoint and private endpoint. It's important. They do ask the question, here is your answer, but the explanation I'll give you once we start storage concept, because you'll be able to understand it easily once you know storage concept. Webhook, we do have, but don't worry about it. Don't bother. No one is asking. I have not seen anyone asking about this for a long time. Important service, it's your key vault. Right? Is it readable enough, guys, or should I increase it? Can you guys read it? Yes, no, maybe. Do you want me to zoom in, zoom
Yes.
out? Okay. Now, what is a key vault? Right? We were talking about a website and database. I have explained that three tier of application also, right? If I go ahead here and open this, three tiers of application. Let's see, where is that diagram? Okay, we can stick to this. Now, end user is accessing my website, uploading a picture. We'll go back again to the face app application, which is changing the picture, right? Changing the working on picture, making you look younger, older, whatever input you give. Or Instagram, putting filter and saving the video, etc. So ultimately, it has a database also. So now, when the coders will write the code, right, they will mention all these things, that how it used to work or how it should work. So end user connects to my public IP or a DNS name, faceapp.com. Right? DNS name uploads a picture with some instructions that I want to make my picture with gray hair, or maybe how will I look when I'm 50. With some instructions, I have uploaded the picture. Now, what is happening? This one, this is your web app, right? Or your web application. Not necessary you're using virtual machine or app, anything, whatever you're using, doesn't matter. It is sending a request where it is sending a request here to load balancer, and obviously load balancer is sending here to your engine server, to one of the engine server, right? So now the coder has mentioned already that fine, this server will go to this server and share this picture with these instructions, right? And then this server will send the reply that okay, here is your picture available, and also save the same one. Obviously, it will route from here. It will save it to the database. Now, when this machine is accessing this machine, or this machine is accessing the database, don't you think that it will require some sort of ID or password? When we as an individual also go and try to access some machine, it is asking for user ID and password, right? So, when this machine is going to this machine, or let's say a web app, if this web app is going to this machine, or this web app is going to this web app, doesn't matter which service, anything is going to the next one to amend something. This one is trying to amend something here, and this one is trying to amend something here. So they should have access, right? Not anyone can go directly and try to amend something. It's not only applicable for end users, it's applicable for other services also. So if one machine wants to do some changes on other machine, it should have some details. It should have some access, right? So this access can be done using programmatic user. Now you are getting user ID and password. You as in we end users, we do get uh, user ID and password. However, these machines, they don't have a programmatic access exactly like us, but they do have some user ID and password. Let's see if we can find it here. So all these codes, do you see? So somewhere in this code, it is written And okay, when you go to this machine, this is your user ID and password. And this is how you can access that. You can create a user ID and password, or it creates itself. So this machine gets access on the other machine. The other machine gets access on the database. Right? This is how they can communicate with each other. Not talking about the network level. Fine, network level we have already sorted with maybe they are in the same VNet, different subnets. They can talk to each other. If they are in different VNet, maybe we have done VNet pairing, right? How they are traveling via load balancer. So I'm not talking about the network level access. Connectivity is there. That's a different thing. But do you have credentials? Just because you can take RDP to this, if you get RDP page, can you log into that server if you do not have login ID and password? If RDP, you can take RDP, you get the pop-up, which means network connectivity is there, but you don't have access to that unless you do have your credentials. Same thing applies here. So they have the connectivity, that's a different thing, but they cannot read or write anything here. This one cannot read and write anything here. So for that, they also get IDs, which is called system assigned ID, and these are with programmatic access. Even if you get hold of those IDs, you cannot log in. That cannot be used by an end user. That is only for machines to use from one machine to another machine. So now whatever code is written here, using that code is traveling from here till here. Right? And then that code is asking this machine to make changes. Now because that code has authority, in that code credentials are there and the credentials has authority, so it is happening. Same thing from here to here it will go, and even here they have some credentials which is which has access on the database. So they're asking to make changes in database, right? This is how it works. Now that is fine, you can get the ID and everything looks good. But if you start keeping that ID directly in your code, look how easy it is for someone to go ahead and check that user ID and password. I mean, someone with basic knowledge will be able to go ahead and check your code. And if your user ID and password, even if it is programmatic, right? I told you that programmatic user ID and password cannot be used by end users. But if they get the access, maybe they can write their own program and use your credential. And instead of adding some data to your database, maybe they will copy the database because they have the access now, right? Hackers, they're good enough, they're smart enough. They understand that this ID, they are not able to log in, they will not be able to log in as a end user. But it's not a big deal for them to write a similar program. Write a similar program, make the connectivity, and then they have the user ID and password. And let's copy your data. Let's copy my competitor's data. Right? That can happen, that can easily happen, and that has happened in the past. Not only copy, corrupt the data, it can be anything. But once the data is accessible for some unauthorized person, that's a threat itself, no matter what that person is doing to that data. So keeping that ID here in the code, it's not at all a good idea. So what needs to be done? What can be done to avoid that? So Azure came up with a feature called Azure Key Vault. Now, what is a Key Vault? Azure Key Vault, it's don't get confused between Service Vault or Backup Vault. Okay? Names are similar, they have nothing to do with each other. Key Vault is very different service. Okay, so Azure Key Vault is a cloud service for securely storing, accessing secrets. A secret is anything that you want to tightly control access to, such as API keys, passwords, certificate, or storage account, or cryptographic keys. Right? Key Vault service supports two type of containers. One is a hardware security model, which we are not looking at. Key Vault can be used to encrypt your OS disk, virtual machine. I'll be explaining this, that how can you use or what is the uh, encryption. Though we have seen this when we were covering virtual machine, but I'll just quickly, briefly, I'll let you know. Okay, what all can we save in Key Vault? We can save keys, we can save secrets, and we can save certificates. Okay. Uh, Purge protection, Vault has R back. Okay, let me cover this when we go ahead and check the practical. Otherwise, it will be too much. Are these points clear, guys? Still here? That what is a key vault? When can you use it? How to do it? We are going to see that now in next session. But in what scenarios will we do it? Is it okay? Is it clear for you? Yes, no,
Sir, I
maybe
have a
any question?
question.
Yes.
Yeah. So what extra layer does this key vault add to your data?
I will explain that. Good question.
Oh,
That how is it different from putting it directly on the in the code, right? If that's what you're
yeah.
trying to ask. Yes. That we'll see when we do the practical. You will see how is it different, how you can go directly here. If it is in your code in plain English or plain text, I can go here and I can search for it and I can find it and I can use that in my program. I can do that. But when I'm using it in via Key Vault, then how is it different? What will appear here? How will it look here? That we are going to see. Yes, guys. Any other questions? If not, I'll stop the session. We have 1 minute left. I'll start the new session at 12:30. So, see, it takes time, guys, for this recording to get converted, and sometimes if I start the session, recording gets corrupted. Hence, I wait. So let's start at 12:30, and we'll see the practical of Key Vault, and I will answer what Wasim has asked, and will explain these features also, and then how to use that. We'll see that. See you guys at 12:30. Same link.